What up guys, and welcome back to Thomas Reacts here on the 360 experience with myself, Thomas Maba. So yesterday in one of my videos I made people aware that I need a new chair. Guys, I need a new chair because this chair that I'm using right now it's pretty much uncomfortable, man. That's why I can't do long form videos, because it gets uncomfortable here. So I need a new chair, guys. If you can, please donate something to the channel so that we can get a new chair and so that I can spend more time with you. So before we go on, I just want to say thank you so much to BZA. BZA donated 105 rand yesterday, and he said that I can't buy you a chair, but I can contribute a bit. Get yourself a nice office chair when you can, and thank you for the content. I just want to say thank you to BZA for this contribution. It really means a lot, guys. I honestly need a new chair so that we can do more content, so that I can spend more time with you. So guys, today I want us to look at this whole thing of a grand coalition. You know that going to 2024, people are talking about this whole coalition between the African National Congress and the Democratic Alliance. This is despite the fact that the Democratic Alliance had said it publicly that they are not interested in working with African National Congress. They say that their people will not appreciate them working with African National Congress because the African National Congress is a corrupt party. That's what basically John Steenhuisen said, and they said that they are not even going to entertain the negotiations with the economic freedom fighters. So what do you think about 2024, and what do you think about this grand coalition of the African National Congress and the Democratic Alliance? Because guys, you have to admit that this conversation is not going away. This conversation is not going away, despite the DA saying that they are not interested in working with the ANC. But the ANC leadership are open with the idea of working with the Democratic Alliance. You remember that recently the president of ANC Veterans League went to Biz News, and he said that they are open with the idea of working with the Democratic Alliance. But when it comes to the economic freedom fighters, they are not so sure about working with the economic freedom fighters. And if you are aware, or if you have noticed on the media, on the mainstream media, they are pushing this whole thing of the African National Congress going into coalition with the DA. They are saying that if the African National Congress goes into coalition with the economic freedom fighters, South Africa is done. That's what people are saying on the mainstream media. So guys, what are your thoughts? Do you think that we are being told the truth, or do you think that the DA is simply lying to South Africa? It's simply because I've heard again some people saying that the DA is saying that they are not going to work with the African National Congress because they want to appease their moon-packed partners who also made a similar pledge that they will not work with the African National Congress. They will not even entertain the idea of working with the economic freedom fighters. But you've heard people like Gauteng Premier accusing the Democratic Alliance of negotiating with the African National Congress behind everyone's back. So the DA is still answering for that. And today I want us to look at this interview that Panyaza Lesufi did recently. And on this interview, he was asked again about the same thing of the African National Congress going into coalition with the Democratic Alliance.
They are very critical of the DA and how they handled these coalitions, running their own affairs, sabotaging the provincial government. Would you work with the DA after next year, say you are unable to get 50+1 at the provincial level?
Well, I'm bound by the decision of the National Executive Committee of the ANC that will work with whoever that wants to work with the ANC. But those that don't want to work with the ANC will not work with them, and I'm not going to beg them. I think there are political parties that have openly said that they're not going to work with the ANC. So why should we go and beg them to work with us when they've pronounced out that they don't want to work with us? Those that don't want to work with us, it's fine. And those that are willing to work with us, it's also fine.
You know, I think that Panyaza Lesufi is saying this because I feel like he thinks that these people are going to come to the African National Congress. The African National Congress won't have to go to these smaller political parties to beg them to go into coalition and to basically form a government with them. But the way I look at it, it's like these smaller political parties are going to end up fighting each other off to be the partner of the African National Congress and form a government with African National Congress. Because at the end of the day, these guys, they opened these political parties because they want power. They didn't open up these political parties because they care about the citizens of the country or because they care about the condition that the country is in right now. They opened up all these political parties because they want power. Most of these guys were in government not so long ago. You look at people like Ace Mahashule, you look at Bongani Baloyi, you look at Musime Mane. These guys have tasted power, so they will do anything to go back to parliament. So I think the African National Congress knows that these guys are going to fight to go into coalition with them. It's not the African National Congress that is going to fight with people to form a governance with them. It is these people who are going to fight with African National Congress to go into coalition with African National Congress, and I think Lesufi knows that.
Would it be any role to work with the DA against the backdrop of all these failures that they've and atrocities they've committed at the municipal level?
Well, the political parties at the personal level, I would not even entertain to work with. But I don't want to mention names because I'm not. It's not about personal things, but the parties that are prepared to work with us will work with them. But my advice to the ANC, even those parties that are prepared to work with us, there must be some bare minimum agreement that must be entered into. It can't just be blindly because we want to win power. Whoever wants to work with us, come, let's form government. I don't know. But there are political parties that I will die for. And one such political party is Al-Jama. You know, Al-Jama, and that's the reason we even gave them the mayorship of Johannesburg when people were raising the concern that here. When we lost power in Johannesburg, all political parties that were in coalition with them, the IFP, PA, they left because they wanted to form government with the new regime, the DA. Al-Jama remained with us. When the parties that went to the DA found out that the DA is racist, is white, is all this. When they came back, Al-Jama didn't say you find out you are finding us back here. We are the superpower. No. They behave normally. They didn't want many. It's us that suggested them that they should lead the municipality. So such parties are parties that are consistent, principled, and always there with you. They are not with you during
ANC members talking about principles.
shiny days and leave you. When there are parties that I know, when the ANC cannot be in power, they will be the first one to teach us out. So should I go and beg those parties? No. So the political parties that I can work with, and the political parties, obviously, ideologically and otherwise, I can work with them, and historically as well.
What is your view on Bongani Baloyi's Shiluva political party?
Good luck to him.
Would you work?
Well, if he wants to work with us, we'll work with him. But if he doesn't want to work with us, what surprises me, there are some parties that make public pronouncement that they don't want to work with us, but they send delegations to come and talk to us. I mean, Bongani is highly talented. He ran the Midval very well. He's open-minded, have a bright future. So my first prize to him is for him to abandon that organization and come and join the ANC.
What?
Join Discovery Bank and experience the most valuable rewards. Enjoy 10 to 7.
Bongani Baloyi, I hope you hear what Panyaza Lesufi is saying, the Premier of Gauteng. They want you in the African National Congress. This whole thing of yours going and jumping from political party to political party, it is not working, man. It seems like you want power. So the African National Congress is saying, come. There's space for you here at the African National Congress. And I honestly don't understand or don't think that Bongani Baloyi is going to make much difference with his political party in 2024, because how many people in the country know of this party, Shiluva? How many of them know of this party? Men, come to our neighborhoods, because I don't know what's wrong with these political parties, especially the younger ones. They are not interested in coming to the townships, and they are not talking with the people. I mean, if you come to our townships and you ask people what are the political parties, or like which political parties do you know, people will tell you about the African National Congress, they will tell you about the DA, they will tell you about the EFF, they will tell you about the Inkatha, and other parties are not so popular within our townships. But today we have so many young political parties. We have like these small political parties, and they are not doing anything when it comes to coming to our townships. They are not doing anything on the grassroots. I don't know, maybe they think doing the interviews with the SABC or with the ANC-DA is going to garner them enough support, but it is not. It is not going to garner them enough support. So I don't understand, or I don't know how Bongani Baloyi thinks that Shiluva is going to do in 2024. Because this guy, you have to understand, he was in the DA, and he left the DA and he went to Action SA, and he didn't stay long in the Action SA, and now he has his own political party. Is he the problem? Well, I don't know, but I don't know how he's going to make an impact in 2024 with all of these political parties mushrooming out of nowhere. Man, we have Ace Makashule, we have Musi Maimani, but I'm telling you, people in the townships, they don't know this stuff. They don't know these things. That's why I said that it is a problem in South Africa, the fact that a lot of people in this country, they cannot afford data. Young people in this country cannot afford data. People in general in this country, they cannot afford data. So they are deprived of a lot of information that is out there. So I don't know. Do you think that Bongani Baloyi is going to do good in 2024 with Shiluva? Do you think that Musi Maimane is going to do good in 2024 with the Build One SA? Do you think that Ace Makashule is going to do good in 2024 with African Congress for Transformation? Do you think that Carl Neas is going to do good in 2024 with African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance? Guys, we have so many parties. Man, we also have this one of Songeso Zibi. It's Rise SA, I think. But one thing I can tell you is that people on the ground, they don't know about these guys. They don't know about these parties. And these parties, they are like, they only want to talk with the mainstream media. That is the problem with these guys. That is the problem with these guys. They are not moving with the times. If you really want to reach a lot of people, you have to start doing the podcast. You have to start doing the NBs also. Book the community halls. Invite people there and tell people about your plans. Invite people to come to neighborhood fields and talk to the people and make people see what's really happening in the country. So I don't know, they think that doing an interview with the SABC is going to do them any good, or sitting with Stephen Hotes or something. It is not doing anything. In 2024, people are still going to vote for political parties they know. They're going to vote for African National Congress, they're going to vote for the DA, they're going to vote for EFF, they're going to vote for Inkatha. That's what people are going to vote for in 2024. I'm telling you, fact. Jeez, I don't know now. I went way back, jam. Now I went way back, guys. Sorry. I went way back. Honestly, guys, I don't know what these guys think. I don't know what they think. I don't know if they think that simply relying on the mainstream media is going to do any good for them. I don't know. Because if you don't believe me, just go to townships and ask people about Build One South Africa. Do you think that average South Africans know about Rise SA? Do you think average South Africans know about Shiluva? People don't know. People know. They don't know nothing about those parties. And the leaders of those parties, they want to do the interviews only with the big guys. They don't want to come to the ground and communicate with the people. They are not on the ground. They are not doing anything on the ground. Guys, I'm telling you, on the ground, the African National Congress still has enough support. They still have a lot of people. People would rather not go to the polls and vote than to vote the African National Congress out. No. People are not going to do that. People would rather sit at home and not vote at all instead of going to the polls and vote for a different party. This whole thing of opposition parties approaching the African National Congress as a political party, it's a mistake. The African National Congress, it's an ideology, man. It's an ideology. The African National Congress, like, guys, is deep within people's minds. If you talk about the African National Congress, you really have to come to the grassroots, man. This is the reason why I said yesterday that Rob Hessoff doing all these nice seminars exposing the African National Congress, but doing them there at certain convention centers is not going to do anything unless you come to the people here on the ground and invite them to come there and show them what is really happening in our country. People will remain ignorant. I'm telling you guys, people will remain ignorant.
When the parties that went to the DA found out that the DA is racist, is white, is all this, when they came back, Al Jama didn't say you find out you are finding us back here, we are the superpower. No. They behaved normally. They didn't want many. It's us that suggested them that they should lead the municipality. So such parties are parties that are consistent, principled, and always there with you. They are not with you during shiny days and leave you. When there are parties that I know, when the ANC cannot be in power, they will be the first one to teach us out. So should I go and back those parties? No. So the political parties that I can work with, and the political parties, obviously, ideologically and otherwise, I can't work with them, and historically as well.
What is your view on Bongani Baloye's Shilugwan political party?
Good luck to him.
Would you work?
Well, if he wants to work with us, we'll work with him. But if he doesn't want to work with us, what surprises me, there are some parties that make public pronouncement that they don't want to work with us, but they send delegations to come and talk to us.
Which parties, man? Tell us, which parties? Why are you allowing these people to talk bad about the African National Congress in public, and you still support them? Or
so I mean, Bongani is highly talented. He ran the Midval very well. He's open-minded, have a bright future. So my first prize to him is for him to abandon that organization and come and join the ANC.
Why?
Because we need his expertise, his talent, his commitment. You know, it's rare nowadays to find a politician that is administratively astute and politically clear. That balance is very important to understand administration. But
so is Panyaza Lesufi telling us that out of all the African National Congress members, there is no one like Bongani Baloyi? Even with because Bongani Baloyi, man, but Bongani Baloyi, how old is Bongani Baloyi? I think Bongani Baloyi is still fit to be the ANC Youth League. I think the president of the Youth League. I think he can contest to be the president of the Youth League, man. But out of all the members in the African National Congress, you have no one like Bongani Baloyi. What does it mean about what does it mean about the African National Congress, man?
At the same time, you understand politics, and Bongani is one of the few in that category. So I've persuaded him. We continue to persuade him to join the ANC, and I'm glad there's somebody who we've persuaded in Johannesburg is warming up as well. So there are many other leaders that we will persuade to join the ANC.
Finally, Premier, among other things that obviously will work in your favor in retaining the province as the ANC in this province is how people view your national government, because I mean in South Africa it's actually very difficult for people to separate these three layers of government. And there's a huge critique on the national government, which is led by the ANC. People are saying it's failing in every front, jobs, load shedding. I can go on and on.
Yeah.
Do you believe that the national leadership of the ANC of the country as it is now has the capabilities to make a difference between now and the next elections?
What's the alternative? Yep.
He says, what's the alternative?
And Freedom Fund in Parliament running this government. What will be the price of that? The alternative is severe and dire. And it's very important, and therefore we need to.
Panyaza Lesufi is saying that the alternative of the African National Congress is severe and dire. Man, the African National Congress is severe and dire itself. What do you mean? 60% of young people in this country are not working, and you are talking about the alternative being dangerous and whatever. 60% of young people are not working in this country, man. Our infrastructure is a mess. Load shedding. Guys, we can talk on and on and on. The sewages. And he's trying to demonize this whole idea of an alternative. Man, that's why I'm saying that the ANC is good. The ANC is good. Because this is exactly what they do when they go to the people on the ground. You have to understand that the African National Congress is not shy to go to the people on the ground. They are not shy. They don't care how people feel about the African National Congress. That they are going to come to the people. Even right now, they are starting to campaign. Even in our neighborhood, yesterday, they were going around knocking on people's doors. The African National Congress, the same African National Congress that people are mad at, it was going around knocking on doors. And this is the same thing that the African National Congress is telling the people, that if you vote out the ANC, man, it's going to be very hard for you to live in this country. They are going to get rid of your SASAs. They are going to get rid of your grants. Guys, I'm telling you, and people believe them. People believe African National Congress when the African National Congress tells them that, guys, if you allow these guys to vote us out of power, it's done. It's done. We will be out of power, but your life is going to be more difficult. And people are buying to the idea of saying like, no, man, if I vote for the DA, man, maybe they might take away my grant. Maybe they might do this to me. Maybe they might start looking into my illegal electricity connectivity. Guys, I'm telling you, the African National Congress is good, especially with this thing. It's good because they're telling the people like, guys, you have no alternative. The African National Congress is the only party for you. If you don't vote for us in 2024, you are going to regret it. This is the reason why I tell people that, man, stop approaching the African National Congress as if the African National Congress is some smaller political party. Man, the African National Congress is an ideology, man. It's stuck in people's heads, man. You really have to work hard to make people see what the African National Congress is doing to this country. That's why I'm telling you that the average voter is voting for the African National Congress. And these parties, these smaller parties, the Ace Mahashules and the Bongani Balus, are not doing us any favor, because they are pushing people more to the African National Congress. Because people are saying, whoa, better the devil I know. I will not come here and start voting for Muslim Emani. Muslim Emani has never done anything. Because that's what the African National Congress is also saying, that these guys, they have no experience. The African National Congress is the only party that has experience. So if you are going to elect these people into office, these guys, they don't know what they are saying, they don't know what they are talking about. The things are going to be so hard in South Africa, man, and people will be like, man, better the devil I know. The African National Congress, I put my X next to it. And that's what people are doing. So the African National Congress is not just a political party, man. It's an ideology. That's why it is so hard if you have a political party and that political party is not backed by any ideology. It is hard for it to resonate with the people. Just look at Freedom Fund Plus and you look at the white Afrikaner speaking people. They love Freedom Fund Plus because they believe that if Freedom Fund Plus is not elected there in parliament, we won't have a representation. We won't have a representation. And we won't have any power to do anything if these guys implement laws that are against us. So we are always going to vote for the Freedom Fund Plus so that we can have a representation there in government. You look at Inkatha Freedom Party, man, just look at the ideology behind the political party. Just look at the ideology. Just look at parties like African Christian Democratic Movement, ACDP, that one of Kenneth Mishu. Man, just look at the ideology behind the party. The party has been there for years. Every election, these guys, they have a solid base that is going to vote for them no matter what. And these new political parties, they don't have any ideology. The only thing that they are pushing is that we want to get rid of the African National Congress. That's why I said that even the Moonpeg did this whole thing of theirs of running with the whole idea of kicking the ANC out. It is not going to work for them. It is not going to work for them. If you have a political party and it is not backed by a strong ideology, that's why the EFF, even till today, the EFF is still working towards that ideology of land reform, of nationalization of mines and everything. They are still working hard to make people warm up to the idea of nationalizing the land, nationalizing the banks, nationalizing the mines and everything. But each political party needs to have a strong ideology. It needs to have a strong ideology. You look at African National Congress, you look at the fights, you look at apartheid, you look at their contributions towards apartheid, you look at their leaders, and you look at their relationship with the people. Man, it is hard to break that relationship. It is hard because there are people who are saying that, man, I understand that the African National Congress is doing a bad job, but who am I going to vote for? Who am I going to vote for if not the African National Congress? I don't trust Malema, I don't trust Musi Maimane, and there is no way I'm going to vote Isma Hashule to be the president of South Africa. So better the devil I know. Man, the African National Congress is good with this thing of telling people there is no alternative. There is no alternative. The only party that is here for you is the African National Congress. We took the bullets in the 90s and in the 80s for you. The African National Congress has sacrificed its members for you. That's what they are telling the people, and the people believe them.
To consolidate and fight. I mean, that is why we are saying review us from 1994. The 2019 manifesto review, it serves that purpose. Those that didn't have water.
Review us from 1994. Forget about all the mess that we've made in the past 5 years. Forget about it. Forget about the fact that today in the country you have 60% of unemployment rate. Forget about that. Forget about the fact that the infrastructure is crumbling. Forget about that. Forget about the fact that people are being killed in high numbers in this country. Man, it's insane. Thousands of people have been killed right now in this country. I think from January to March, if I'm right, the numbers were like 5,000 or something. Insane numbers. Thousands of people are being killed in this country, man. The crime in South Africa. Man, South Africa has to be the most lawlessness country in the world. I'm telling you, man, South Africa, we have to be number one. There is no number one. I'm telling you, there is no number one. We are number one. When it comes to lawlessness, we are number one. But the Premier is telling you, forget about all those things. Forget about the fact that your children are not working. Forget about the fact that everything is crumbling in front of you. Forget about everything. Just remember that before the democracy, you didn't have water, you didn't have electricity, you didn't have grants. That's what they are saying. Review us from 1994. It is their mandate. They know they are fighting for their life. The African National Congress understands that right now they are fighting for their lives. They are fighting for their existence. So they are going to remind people of all the things that they have done for them. You forget about these 5 years. Forget about the wasted 5 years of Ramaphosa. Forget about it. Review us from 1994. You think it's not going to work in the general public? You think when the African National Congress goes to the township and start telling the people that before the 90s you didn't have water, you didn't have electricity, you didn't have grants, do you think it's not going to work? Guys, I'm trying to warn you, man. I'm warning you guys.
Water. Those that didn't have houses have houses. Those that didn't have clinics have clinics.
Man,
it might not be all of them, but there is tangible proof that this government has delivered where it needed to deliver. There is tangible proof that yourself, Mawanda, will not be seated in this room if 1994 didn't happen. That will not be a political edit of an institution of this magnitude if we didn't promote empowerment of black people. That will not be in a position to have women occupying strategic positions in our country. The limitation of our government is its failure to package its achievement and its communication machinery. That is major limitations. The general view of load shedding and the general view on inflation, when those views were not there, when we didn't have load shedding, were people ready to vote for the ANC? They're not even voting for us. You know, it's just that we have a new item that contributes to a perception that this government has failed. But this government has its own limitation, but also accept this government have scored spectacular good work where it needs to. The limitations cannot therefore erode what we've done. And I'm sharing that view that indeed there are areas that we needed to have improved. But check where we come from. So many people that are protected by the rights that we have defended and even if those rights are against us, including press freedom. I mean, the media has the right to criticize us because we've given them the right to do so. It's not something that we can take for granted when people were not even allowed to have some of the media houses that we have. Before 1994, there was no YFM, there was no Power FM, there was no Kaya FM. So those institutions were not there. Before 1994, did you have MTN? Did you have Vodacom? Do you have the institutions that we're having now? And the many malls and money institutions that through our policies have created all these facilities to be available. I'm saying judge us on the basis of what we are capable of doing, not on the short-term limitations that we have. We have put this country completely out of the quagmire. Yes, there are signs that if we can't intervene decisively, we can go back to that quagmire. And the reason some of us are here is to ensure that we don't go back to that quagmire.
You heard it, guys. You heard it. It's going to work. According to me, this strategy is going to work. The opposition parties, they don't have anything stronger than this. They don't. Stop telling people about the load shedding, man. People have gotten used to load shedding. Stop telling people that the ANC is doing a bad job with load shedding, man. People have gotten used to load shedding. People are telling you, man, I prefer the 2 to 4, man. You see this load shedding of 6 to 10 p.m., I don't like it. That's what South Africans are saying today. So guys, please tell me what you think on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part, guys, please subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.